Hi, this is Zoe here with Canadian Beats with the Darcys. How are you guys doing?
So good.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Wes?
I'm very cold. I'm cold right
Yeah,
now.
we were talking about that. Yeah, it is a bit chilly. Okay, but I want to take it back to also a cold time, back when you met, apparently at snowboard camp, when you were very
You've done
young.
your research.
What were your first impressions of each other? Do you remember?
Not strong. They were not strong, but sometimes when you have no other friends, you have to make do with what you can, and we only had each other.
Beautiful.
There were only a few of us. Everyone was into skiing, and we were like some of the first kids to take snowboard lessons. And so I think that, based on the fact that we were outcasts on the ski hill, I think we bonded over that over time. And our shared, whatever it was, Blink-182 mini discs that we would listen to on the way back from skiing.
So a bond of necessity. But
Exactly.
It's turned into this beautiful thing, and fast forward to now, you're on your 5th studio album, but it's kind of the second of this new, vibrant, summery sound.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, this second time around with this kind of evolution, what's the kind of approach you've taken, and where's it heading?
No, please.
Please, Wes, I would like you to answer this question. Oh, no, you have two microphones.
This microphone's flying at my face. Yeah. Hey, can you hear me? Stereo. I'd like. Yeah. Can we high cut the right microphone? We'll just do some nice production.
Do some production on this
pan it
interview
across.
right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just been about sort of reconciling what we were doing with what we wanted to be doing, and it slowly. I think Centerfold was a big stepping stone, and the new stuff is the most sort of settled and genuine thing we've done. But I don't know. I don't really have an answer. It just felt like a normal evolution to us, and then the rest of the world was like, "What's going on?" And we were like, "Well, I thought this song was good."
We just don't want to do the same thing twice. And when we started working on Centerfold, it was an effort to explore kind of more traditional understandings of song structure and different kind of pop conventions and stuff like that. And then, we toured it, and we learned a lot about ourselves and about the type of music that you write and how that translates to stage. And I think that started to inform how we were writing. And we also did a lot of co-writing and work with other artists, production, stuff like that. And I think that also trickled in, and it kind of changed the way, the efficiency of a song and the kind of concentration of an idea or something like that. And I think we kind of just amplified all these little things that we had earlier just been exploring. And I think so now it feels at least like it's a bit more methodical and mature as songwriting. I don't know if it actually comes across that way, but yeah, it's different. It's less. It started off as an exploration, and now I feel like it's an exercise.
Sweet. So kind of settling in?
Never fully settling in, but always getting closer to doing. And the day that we're like, this is it, then it'll be like, that's it, it's done. We're no more music. There's no more needs to explore anything. But it feels like it's getting closer to a refined and sort of essential project, which is cool.
Awesome. I want to get a bit into the songwriting. So last year I was talking to you, and you said you were taking film scoring classes, and you guys have mentioned film before in a few other places. So can you talk a bit more about how film influences your music?
Well, especially when we were working on Centerfold, we would screen movies on silent while we were working. And I think it really helps you when you're watching picture and creating some sort of sounds, especially if you're choosing films that you like and you kind of want to embody that mood. When we're working on getting up different sounds and working on different beats and stuff like that, you kind of can tell really quickly if it fits and if it complements what you're looking at or not. And so, yeah, that was a huge kind of creative element of the whole Centerfold production session. And I think the most helpful thing is for when you're creating music to not just be influenced by other music, to draw from art and experience and travel and all those other things. I feel like that is how you get to a more unique kind of voice as an artist, rather than just, listening to your favorite artists and going to shows and just always just kind of borrowing from things within your circle. So yeah. I think that's kind of, yeah.
I think that if you replicate the things you grew up on, that you just end up making bad versions of those things that you loved. And I think that it's really hard to do a good version of something that's already great that you love. And I think that that's why you always see people that grew up on pop punk, they make the best pop music, or they're great DJs or whatever it is, and it's because they make these lateral moves based on what they know and they love and trying something different. And I think that from what Jason's saying, exploring different mediums and things like that helps you create something new and not just sort of like a shitty replica of something that you grew up on.
So more like the visuals of movies rather than the soundtracks?
Well, it's a lot. Like when you're watching a film, it's the visuals and it's the color, but it's also the pacing and the flow of the edit and the mood. Like, it was the scene in daytime or nighttime. Is it a car chase or is it like someone floating in a pool? And choosing the things accordingly to the kind of vibe that you want the song. Just in the same way that when you, if you start a song with lyrics first, the way you produce the music has to kind of embody and reinforce the idea of the lyrics or the kind of the atmosphere, the place you want the song to be, because you want to transport the listener. That's kind of the whole project, right? And so, it's just about trying to make sure that all those things are connecting, because if you have a song that sounds like this and a lyric that is like this, that song is just not going to click in the same way as if those things are designed to kind of fit together.
Yeah, you take it to a perfect place, because I wanted to ask about lyrics next.
Segue master.
Perfect. So, Wes, you write the lyrics, which is sort of strange for a drummer. So, Jason, I'm wondering how it feels like to sing somebody else's words, and Wes, what's it like writing and knowing somebody else is going to sing what you're writing?
To clarify, doesn't Neil Peart write all the lyrics for Rush?
Yeah,
Sorry,
don't forget about Rush.
I take it back.
But I think that's not always true. Like I saw the National the other day. They did a Q&A, and they have a film, I guess you would call it, that's coming out in tandem with their album, and his wife writes a lot of the lyrics.
Nice.
And I think that Jason and I have become more collaborative. I think for a while when we started, we were like, we're in a band now, we got to do all this stuff, and you like lay it all out and go like, okay, you do that, I'll do this, and then we just had to get it done. And now that we're a bit better at it, it becomes more collaborative and easier. But before it was like we were just struggling to get the whole thing put together. So I think it's not as cut and dry as like I write something and Jason sings it. I also write it with knowing that Jason's going to sing it in mind, and obviously if there's anything that Jason wasn't I think I can vet what he would like and wouldn't like ahead of time, and then obviously further than that, if he doesn't like it, it doesn't stay.
There is still a songwriting process too when we're working on stuff. Even if Wes comes prepared with ideas, we have a conversation about what the song is about. Like not just what the lyrics say, but like what is this really about? Is it about and the conversation can go in so many ways, and then that starts to inform all of the things that are part of the song. And so, even if the genesis of the lyric is a personal thing that's happening for him because we've been close for so long and know each other so well, and discussed the core of that song so much, it's something. The idea with the song is that anyone can find themselves in it, right? And I think that's just like that becomes my job in those situations, is to find myself in the lyric and in the song, because when it's my face that's specifically communicating those words, like I have to believe it and embody it.
It's nice too, because Jason has to feel the weight of all of my emotional gravity. So I just put it on to him,
Twice as much.
and then I watch him deal with it and go, okay, I feel better now.
There you go.
Deal with that.
Love it.
I don't have to deal with anything.
So talking about dealing with other people's emotions, so at the beginning of the year you put out a cover of Billie Eilish's Ocean Eyes. So I'm wondering about the process of taking that song and making it your own.
We had a number of songs in queue to do a cover. We really wanted to do a cover. We hadn't done it in a while. We wanted to do it sort of simplified and broken down like that, and just sort of have the project go all the way down from Friends and then sort of come all the way back up as we work into summer. And we talked about doing a Lana Del Rey song. Jason really wanted to do a Macy Gray song, but this Billie Eilish song just sort of like spoke to us at the time. And luckily, Billie Eilish is now the biggest thing on the planet, which has been really, really great for us. But I think it was just, as much as we agree on so much, picking a cover is something that we could have easily gone down the rabbit hole for a year on, being like, I don't like that, I don't like this. And the fact that we got that quickly to a song, Jason suggested it, and I was like, that's great.
Sometimes you like, we've done covers over the years, right? And sometimes you try a song, you're like, this is the perfect one. We try it, and it just doesn't click. And you're okay, let's try a different one, and let's try a different one. And sometimes it takes a few shots. Yeah, so I think with this one, we talked about different options, but once we kind of demoed it, we were like, wow, cool. are good to go here, and that's nice too. And I think that also speaks to the quality of the song. You know, when you change the production and you change the delivery and the context of the song itself, and you know, is it still communicative to you emotionally? And I think that one really is. So I think it's cool.
And her brother, who wrote the song, also tweeted that he thought the song was great. So I felt like that was validation to the
Shout
whole.
out Phineas.
It was good.
That's amazing.
So we knew we didn't screw it up that badly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Some validation.
Twitter validation is the greatest
the
form.
best. So most recently you released a piano version of your song Hurt, which came out a few months ago. So what made you want to revisit that song after having already released it? Or how did that come about?
The truth is that I was worried. This is a really complicated story, but essentially Jason wrote all the drum parts for that song, and then I had to learn them, and then I was worried that then they were overkill and that it was ridiculous. But we had already put the song out, and we loved them, and everything was great. But we just said, well, just like the cover of the Billie Eilish song, like maybe there's also a great version of the song that's just this simple version. And since it's 2019, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Whatever you want.
And so we said, here it is. And if people love it and it explodes, that's great. And if it does modestly, then it's still more content for people that like us. And I think that's been really fun to experience it in both versions, and then trying to figure out, how do you play it? Do you play it the stripped down version? Do you play the full version?
And you know, back to.
Hold on though. How does it feel writing drum parts with me in mind? That's what I want to know.
Did you even have who in mind?
Yeah.
Or was it just going for it?
Well, I mean, I foresaw the moment when I was like, yo, how about this wicked long drum fill? And then he was going to be like, geez, man.
Oh, I know, I do. I was going to say I am obsessed with that drum fill.
Yeah, some pretty ridiculous stuff. So you're always, you know, curious to know if he's going to laugh and enjoy it or be annoyed that he's going to have to practice drums a little while to nail that. But he pulled it off beautifully. So, but I think, you know, like that's the thing about any song is you choose one way. For the most part, traditionally, you choose one way to produce it and release it. But there are so many forks in that road, you know, along the way, how you choose to actually get to that final goal. And it kind of felt like with Hurt, there was a song that, you know, had been through many versions, had been around for a while, and we both felt really close to and just loved. In all those different versions, we just weren't sure which one was right. And so we picked one and went forward with it. But then it kind of felt like, but it still felt like this is one version of this song. This isn't like there is no perfect only Pepsi version. What?
It's perfect Pepsi.
You said Pepsi and I just repeated it.
There's no perfect it's like the theory that when they do food analysis, that there's not one type of pasta sauce that everyone wants to buy. There's variants, you know, visible solids, 3 cheese, all that stuff.
So what we put out was just one version, and then we felt so quickly after, like, well, there could totally be another version. And again, does the song, when you change the context and the presentation of a song, does it hold up? And we felt like, you know, with that one, it seemed like it did.
No, I was going to say, plus no one's ever going to say visible solids in an interview with you ever again, so you got that moment.
You make me hungry for some
I've been
ragu,
waiting.
though.
That's what I've been
This
trying
interview
to push
brought to
people
you
towards
by...
You mentioned it's been around for a while, and I remember you saying that you've wrote like 100 songs for Centerfold. Do you know if any of those around for this next record?
No, we kind of just let those evaporate.
Yeah, they're just in the garbage.
They're on a hard drive somewhere, but
and then throw them.
Okay, so I'm gonna be searching the dumpsters, but
Hurt came around, you know, when we were gaining momentum on our new batch of songs, and it had kind of like a smooth kind of Mac DeMarco version early on,
it was pretty
and then
greasy.
So but I think all songs have multiple versions for the most part. All songs kind of evolve over time.
So the new album, I heard there might be a single coming out in June.
Who told you that? We're gonna fire our Jess, you're fired.
Oh, okay. You heard it here first.
Breaking news.
Can you imagine? You should watch that video.
I'll send it to her first thing. Yeah. Okay. But
we're working towards something in June, and it's getting right down to the wire if we can get it done in time to have it out then. And I felt my phone vibrate a couple of times since we've been here. It's possible that it's done.
Oh.
Who knows?
That's exciting.
or maybe it'll never come out. We'll put it with all the other Centerfold songs.
On the evaporating hard drive.
The round file, yeah.
In the dumpster. The special Darcys
The virtual
dumpster.
trash bin.
Okay, and you guys are doing CMW
On Thursday.
Canadian Music Week
Next week,
next
yeah.
Thursday, May 9th. So you can check them out there. And thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.